Hello, everyone. First thing I will say is that Brisson sounds French, and it is. My English is certainly not where I would like it to be. I'll do my very best. That's all I can say. Normally, when I make presentation, I always carry a broomstick with me. Reason for the broomstick is then whenever someone disagree, well, look at me. I need to defend myself. I forgot my broomstick at home, so I don't know. Maybe I'll run away. The other thing I'd like to mention is that I've been involved with Lectanet, with Ukraine for 8 years for a project out there trying to improve milk production and milk quality. My last visit in Ukraine was for a presentation I made in Kyiv in February of 2018. And I believe they certainly need that we carry them in bottom of our heart. And then whenever someone in Quebec complain about the weather or something, then I say, yeah, I understand. That was such a great presentation by Charlie, and we had discussed before we got started this morning, and I said, well, better that you go first. I mean, before me, and he has carried so many good ideas for you guys. Now I have a couple of questions for you, if I may. Great discussion about SNF ratio. What are the market needs as an SNF ratio these days in Canada? 2.0. So you said 2.0. And I'm sure that you were such a good listener because that's exactly what he said. And many of you were not even born. I'm jealous, but that's how it is. What was it 20 years ago?
I think it was 2.4, 2.5.
You're not talking loud enough, so I'm going to repeat what you said. You said 2.3. 2.4, 2.5. You sure?
Not 100%.
And I'm putting you in the hot seat there, but don't worry. I have the numbers, and I certainly present them in a minute. But all of that discussion is around this. You enjoy dairy farming. You enjoy taking care of great-looking cows. That nice little brown cow. But then your work is to deliver milk the best quality possible and the best fit with the market needs. And the discussion this morning is totally different than the one I had a month ago with dairy farmers from out west. Because out west, the way they have decided that milk would be paid on the January milk, butterfat price was $17.25 a kilogram, $2.50 for protein, 72 cents for lactose. And then the discussion with one of the farm from Alberta, I won't give you his name, it's none of your business. But he was spending, with his 165 cows in milk, he was spending $196 in pound fat per day to get a 4% butterfat on his pay. Does that make any sense? Last price he paid on his pound fat 3 weeks ago was $3.52 a kilogram. Does that make any sense? And then the discussion in front of a Jersey audience is totally the opposite, eh? Because then Charlie said that leaving money on the table is not good. But at the other extreme, when your butterfat test is 4.0 and your SNF ratio is 2.5, it's not good either. Oh, another question for you, Jersey breeders as you are, how much forage does it take to raise a Jersey heifer up to calving at 24 months of age? What are you saying?
Less because they get fat on air and water, so you don't have to feed them as much.
Yeah, with heifers, sometimes these days we feed heifers to high quality forage. It does happen now. 40 years ago, it could not happen because forage quality was such low. But back to my question, what is it? What is the answer?
Well, it means less than the whole season.
Well, he's a smart man, eh? Because we're discussing breeds and Jersey and Holsteins, and I've not heard Shorthorn or Angus, but there is. Take a note, the young guys in the back, 4.3 tons of forage, dry matter to raise a Jersey heifer up to calving, 24 months calving. Black and white, 6 tons. Just an idea there.
Equal calving age?
Yes. Just an idea there, eh? Because Jersey cow body weight is not the same, maintenance cost is different, cost of raising a heifer is different. So we just have to appreciate what you have in your barn. That's my point. Oh, sorry. And I promise, at what time is lunch? Is it 1 o'clock?
Let's aim for 12:30, maybe?
No, I'm teasing. I won't hold you that long. But that's the outline I had for you. Brief introduction, market needs, how breeds compare, margin over cost of concentrates in Jersey herds, and conclusions. And my topic is supposed to be on feed margin, return over feed, bottom line, all of what is related to money, because you guys, you're in business, right? And personally, I've been working. I'm old, as you can see, but I've been working for a feed company, Sugarcane Feed Company, for 20 years, and I've been now at Clacton for the last 20 years. But my two brothers, they are farming, and I've always been interested into feed cost. It's and to be involved and interested with feed cost, we never can discuss feed cost without looking at the other side of the equation, which is income. It is so easy to lower feed costs. You don't feed the cows. Real easy, right? But at some point in time, you'll be disappointed, and the truck will have a chance to pass by, and then the mailbox, there will be no check. So, and it's pretty well in line with what Charlie was mentioning. Most important of all is that you like what you do. And tell you the truth, I'm 67 and I have no plan in retiring. Reason for that is I have too much fun still doing what I'm doing. And dairy farming leaves enough money in your pocket for a decent living. Market needs, you were close. Market needs 20 years ago, SNF 2.18. Back in 1996, see, the blue line, it's milk produced in Canada. In orange, that's the market needs. And you see up there in the late 90s, we were producing milk with a higher SNF ratio. And the bad guys in the late 90s were the dairy farmers from western provinces. They had found ways to make 3.2, 3.3, 3.4% butterfat milk. Real easy. A specific product manufactured in Texas, which would make low fat without acidosis. But then Alberta ended up with the SNF ratio at 2.51. A little far away from the market needs, right? And then when you look at the trend, there's just one way, and it is downward. And you know the reason for that, right? There's good demand for fat. Is there any good demand for lactose? Tell me. Not really?
Well, a little bit, but not as much.
Not as much, eh? That milk plant by Coca-Cola, eh? I was kind of happy when I've seen in the news that Coca-Cola was interested in two milk, because that corporation is there for profit. And if they see milk as a profit maker, that's good news for all of us, right? But then when you look at their line of products, which is Fairlife, they're all lactose free. So what do you do with lactose? In Quebec, I'm joking, I'm saying, well, they could pour that in Lake Ontario at midnight. We don't do that, right? But is there good demand for lactose? And the answer is no. And I know many large swine and dairy farms who now feed lactose for free. So what we have on the screen there is saying, well, guys, try to be as close as possible to market needs. And there's no question that dairy farmers of Quebec, dairy farmers of Ontario, dairy farmers of Canada, they are juggling with the payment system, doing their best. The last announcement at P5 to lower the maximum SNF at 2.25 is a good news. Some farmers will complain. But be as close as possible to market needs. No question, you guys, you're in a super good position there. You're much in line and even more with that. Sometimes when we have that discussion about SNF, some farmers say, well, try to improve my SNF, then do you have tricks to lower my protein? I say, that's not a good idea. 42% of milk in Canada is turned into cheese. And to make cheese, you need protein. Is the Jersey milk a good milk for cheese? The best and by far. What is the impact of 1/10 on your butterfat test on the cheese yield? What is the cheese yield difference for a herd who is 4.0 and the other herd who is 4.1? What is the impact on cheese yield? It is 0.1 kilogram per hectoliter. What is the impact of 1/10 of a percent on protein on cheese yield? And it is 2/10. So the higher the protein, the higher the cheese yield. And that's where you are in a super good position. as long as everything is a little bit in line with what Charlie has mentioned. Taking those numbers from, we have Jersey herds in Quebec as well, and here just for the sake of the discussion, that herd butterfat test, the farm butterfat test on top here, and the Quebec average at the bottom here. I don't know from your seed, but from here it looks like their butterfat test is a little better than the average. May I say that? Their protein test, a little better too, eh? And SNF ratio, no surprise, eh? They are at the bottom. Another Jersey farm, and I'm just going to skip that one. Just all of the same, eh? High fat, high protein, low SNF. And I was asking, are these two farms in line with market needs? And you all know the answer. Is the system perfect for now? You also know the answer, I guess. Our latest component prices heading in the right direction. That is on your February milk. $13.04 per kilogram of fat. Isn't it the highest you ever had? Protein. That's the level 1 protein, eh? Whenever your SNF ratio is below 2. $10.39 a kilogram. Are we heading in the right direction? What is mixing things a little bit these days? It is the world market. On your last pay, lactose was paid on the level 2, $3.99 per kilogram. But don't expect this to last too long. It was $1 per kilogram 3.5 years ago. And this is going to make a difference. While you guys, you're always catch the best price possible, eh? High fat, high price on fat, high price on protein. Question here, and you know the answer, I know that, but I have a Holstein herd here, 100 kilogram quota. I have Jersey herd here, 100 kilogram quota. With the average composition I do have in LactaNet database. What is the impact of deductions? How much money do they pay, black and white, Jersey? How much money on a year base? Don't have your calculator? What's up? No, I'll give you the answer if you're interested. Yeah. You are? Deductions are being in dollar per hectoliter, right? Well, if your butterfat test is higher, then you ship less milk, then you haul less milk, and then cost of hauling is less. In Ontario, it's all of the deductions are in dollar per hectoliter. In Quebec, we have hauling in dollar per hectoliter, and other deductions are in dollar per kilogram solids. Doesn't make a big difference. The Holstein herd deduction is, need my glasses, I guess, $46,134 based on your last pay and assuming that would be the same for 12 months. Jersey, $36,184. $10,000 less in deduction, and for good reason, eh? Less hauling and everything. Are you happy with that or not? Because I can call a DFO and say, well, could you change that? They're not happy. Just wanted very, very quickly to share with you a few technical information which is not out yet. These are Quebec average comparing Holstein and Jerseys. Things you already know, eh? And this is 2021 numbers. So, sorry. Production per cow, 10,000. Jersey, 6,700. These are Quebec jerseys. How does that compare with Jersey in Ontario? I don't know. I could not get hold to those numbers in time. Now, when you look also at the centile, that's interesting to see that Charlie is doing better with his jerseys than our centile 90 Jersey Quebec. And you mentioned about productivity. Jersey cows can be quite productive. But we also have centile 10 at 5,000. That's things you already know. Butterfat kilograms and butterfat percent, 414 kilograms fat as compared with 343 percent. All of those things you already know. But here the point I want to make is that centile 10 on percent fat were at 4.7, centile 90 were at 5.48. Things you already know, as I said. Protein, how many kilograms of protein out of a Jersey? 266 kilograms. Average percent at 3.95. And you know, we cannot compare 3.95 with ball tank, right? You know that? And what is the difference?
I think it's the good protein.
He's not talking very loud, eh? But he's saying true protein on one side, which is exactly true protein. And since when?
2 years ago, I think.
You know, you're trying to save the groups. Thank you. September of 2018. So there's the true protein difference, which is 0.19, but there's also the unit difference. At Lectanet, we are in percent, kilograms of protein per 100 kilograms of milk. On your pay, we are kilograms per 100 liters. And the liter is 1.03 kilogram. Body weight. Well, the point I want to make here about body weight, that's maybe 10 years ago, I was meeting with Jersey Quebec, Stéphane Deslauriers. Maybe some of you have already heard his name. He passed away, that's very sad, 3-4 years ago. But the meeting was about this. He was saying, please, on your growth curves for Jersey heifers, do not anymore show centile 75 and centile 90. Because you know, human being being human being, eh? Whenever you see your heifer on the growth curve saying that she's in centile 51, and then you see the curve at centile 75, you feel like you could be better. And one thing I believe we must appreciate out of the Jersey Association over years is that we do not want that cow to be that big cow. We're just happy with the size of the cow we have, which is not the case in other breeds.
Where did that data come from? How old is that data?
Oh, say that again.
Where did this particular data come from and how old is the data? Again, a lot of people wouldn't, I mean, we don't weigh cows very
In Quebec, we do a super good job in weighing cows still. Do I need my broomstick now to do? Well, we're not doing that good of a job, but enough to say that it is representative of what we have, and these are 2021. Yeah. Now back to feed information. I don't smell the lunch still. It's ready, but cold sandwiches, so I can keep going for 5 minutes. Feed information. And then I'm kind of proud of what we're doing in Quebec and the Atlantic provinces. We collect quite a bit of feed information, roughly 600 herds year after year. And by the way, I promise to Bev, if anyone would be interested in having a copy of that presentation, you ask Bev. She has it. Is that okay, Bev? Ayrshire, Holstein, and Jerseys, total forage. These are kilograms of dry matter. 5 tons, 0.1, 5.6, and 4.3. And these days, Joe, it's not possible anymore to not put $sign on forages, When I was a kid, forages value was nothing. My grandfather, he had 2,000 small square bale left from last year. And the horse owner who was passing by would offer 25 cents, and he would say, that's expensive, but I'll try. These days, with all of the challenges we have, price of land and drought and everything, we must, and you know that forages cost quite a bit. And we follow that pretty closely in Quebec too, and we update cost of forages on a year basis. And the last update, which was a few weeks ago, hay crop and hay, $230 per ton of dry matter. Corn silage, $175. And these are not averages; they are the best 70%. So whenever I pull my calculator and I look here, 1.3 tons of forage, I'm talking money, right?
Is this strictly milk cows while they're milking, or does it include the dry period as well?
Dry period included, so milking and dry. Concentrates 2.6 tons and 2.2. Dry matter intake in percentage of body weight, and forage dry matter intake in percentage body weight. This is no surprise, The smaller, the more she eats. Enough, if I would have put dairy goats here, they're just eating a lot more percent body weight. Forage dry matter intake. They are reported on a percentage body weight, but my suggestion here, I much prefer to talk in terms of kilogram, actual kilogram of forage dry matter intake. In Jersey, what is a good number? I'm talking forage, not total dry matter, just forages. What is a good number for Jersey herd in terms of kilogram of forage dry matter intake?
12 maybe?
You say 12? You're close. 13 is a starting point. and Charlie is at 13. Holstein, starting point is 16. Brown Swiss, 18. Ayrshire, 15. And forage dry matter intake, for me, it's a key item on our list. Reason for that is that a cow is a ruminant, and the more forage she eats, the more rumination, better ruminant health, better longevity. Feed efficiency, that's interesting, eh? I met Charlie for the first time a couple of hours ago, and we're talking same, eh? Feed efficiency. Yes?
These values and all of the dry matter intake data that you have in Quebec, is it actually measured per animal on what they actually eat, or is it estimated?
We never met, so I guess you're a bit involved in research, or? Okay. Individual cow intake. In a research station, you can accomplish that with cheap labor, students.
Watch yourself.
I know. But eventually they'll farm, and they will not have the time to monitor individual amount of feed. So these are herd basis. For forages, I know that we are pretty sharp on the number. For TMR herds, that's a given. That's easy. And we still have a lot of component and tie stall and computer feeders, and their numbers are coming from the computer feeders quite most of the time. So I'm very confident in the value of what I have there. Yeah. For an average cow, yeah. And Charlie, you were mentioning milk value. Well, milk value and feed cost. And the margin is the difference in between money coming in, money coming out. There's no surprise here. Do you need my glasses? Last winter, which is winter of 2021, yeah. Winter now is over, so must be 2021. I've been lucky enough, and at Vallecta Lactanet, that's what we do every winter. First time they hired me at Lacta, that was PATQ back then, it was to give workshops or days of training or whatever. And here that has been taken out of workshops we have given on feed margin in the winter of last year. And some of you have attended. So I've taken there some numbers which were coming from Jersey herds. So we're not going to review that in detail. And as usual, at Lactanet, as you well know, we handle a lot of your farm data, which are totally and highly confidential. So that's why those farms were not identified, A and B and C and G. But I kept four, and here giving you the average, the minimum, and the maximum for those 20-some farms I add. So milk production, as you know, that's not just in Jersey, it's in every herd. Productivity vary quite a bit from farm to farm. No surprise. Is that the genetic? Most of the time it's not. Most of the time it's you. It's the environment, it's the comfort, it's forage quality. When Joe, you ask, what are you looking on your forage analysis? I was kind of happy to hear the first answer was ADF. because I like ADF still. I'm old, I have the right to. But ADF to me is still a good indicator of maturity at harvest. I'm not saying that forage, that NDF digestibility doesn't mean anything. That's not what I'm saying. But so productivity varies quite a bit. Fat in kilogram per cow, you see, one Jersey herd at 1.49 and one at 1.06. Nothing new, you know that. The milk composition also vary a lot. See that farm at 5.15, 5.88, 5.06 for fat, protein 375 and 4.1. One farm was at 3.67 and one at 4.27 for protein. Nothing new. The ratio. Milk value, here are expressed in dollar per hectoliter, 100, and no surprise, eh? The higher the fat, the higher milk price. And I'm not saying the opposite of what Charlie was mentioning. Is that farm leaving some money on the table? And the answer is yes, sure. But dollar per hectoliter is good. The point I want to make here is on the cost of concentrates, which are wet brew, which are amosha corn, which are soybean meal, commercial sop, minerals, all what is fed to cows. And you see here, $16 per hectoliter, 21. The lowest was $9.74 and the highest was 22. And the herd was mentioning about earlier in Alberta, it was 26. Giving just a bit more of his history, forage dry matter intake was Holstein herd, 13.25. 3 weeks later, he had cut 1/3 of his pound fat. Forage intake was up at 15.3, and butterfat test was up at 4.18. Saving $255 per day. I don't know if I would put you in any trouble in saving that much money, right? Income taxes, and sometimes I don't want to make you miserable. And the margin, which is the difference, and at the bottom, what I like to look at, you understand forage dry matter intake is key. Another one which I like much is milk to concentrate ratio. That one is so easy to figure out, eh? How much milk you shipped yesterday, and you divide by the amount of concentrate you fed to the cows in milk. You can figure that out easy by yourself. If you're feeding wet brew at 25% dry matter, report it on the basis of 85%. If you want to compare apples with apples. Same with Immersia corn. If you're feeding Immersia corn at 25% moisture, correct the amount on an equivalent dry corn. But here you see, I had one herd at 2.5 milk to concentrate ratio and one at 4.6. And I've seen in other workshops an year review milk to concentrate ratio of a herd being at 1.93, 12 months. Here's my offer. I have the right to, I guess. If ever any one of you would be interested in providing me with the information on your, and that's really minimal, the amount of concentrate you, which concentrate you're feeding to the cows in milk, and the price, the amount of milk you're shipping these days, and the components, and I'll be pleased to get back to you with a report looking like this one here. 1 page, and we have dollar per hectoliter, dollar per kilogram, dollar per cow, and then you'll have a chance to compare with other farms. That's my offer, and Bev has my email address. Just because I know that this afternoon we'll have a genetic expert to question of orientation. I'm not a genetic expert by any means, but I guess you recognize that report? You said yes? I need more yeses. Honestly.
Can't read it.
You can't read it? That's all right. But that report really carries so much good information for your long-term orientation. And dairy farmers out west, those I've met recently, those I've met the winter before, not 1 out of 2 had ever seen that report, even if they are on test with Lactanet. I was so sad, because their price on butterfat last pay was said $17.25 per kilogram, and you have no clue on your genetic index. And you're breeding cows to negative bull at minus 0.4, I've seen, and then you need to feed so much palm fat to make up the difference. I say, please, look at your report. How many updates per year? You don't have the right to answer. How many updates per year, that report?
3.
Wow, I'm impressed. 3. When?
April, August, December.
I'm done. But the question for you here, that's a Jersey herd, and you can treat, but percent fat is plus 0.17 on cows, plus 0.14 on heifers, and national average is plus 0.02. My question, I'm not the expert, but I'm just saying, is that herd heading in the right direction in breeding to improve percent fat? And I'm not 100% sure. In Holstein, there's no question. We have herds, I've seen one herd at minus 0.29. Hey, wake up, please. You will go nowhere with your cows. But in the Jersey breed, I don't know. It's just a question for you there. And don't quote me in saying, well, Brisson said that. No, I don't know. But I'm just raising the question in line with Charlie's presentation, saying SNF market 2.0. The more I breed for percent fat, the higher butterfat test I will get. I know that. So anyway, conclusion. My grandfather was farming, my father, my brothers, my nephew Will. Dairy farming is, well, you know, facing so many different challenges year after year. It's incredible. It's incredible, really. You're strong peoples to be able to face those new challenges every year. Always better to enjoy what you do. Jersey cows certainly carry great potential for future challenges. Thank you so much.
Do you have any questions? Have you or do you have any interest in looking into current Save that question for this afternoon, maybe. But do you have any plans on testing it?
I won't comment. Feed intake. On a herd basis, that's an easy one. Well, yeah, I'm saying easy, but you need a moisture tester on a regular basis, and you need, but you may have that information on a herd basis. On a cow basis, you need cheap labor to weight individual cow intake. But being at school, eventually you'll be out of school and you won't anymore be cheap labor, and then so